Hey everybody, Ben here from The Beard Guys, bringing you today the fastest killing guns in Delta Force right now. I'm going to run through the top 5 guns in the game based purely on time to kill, plus show you a great gun build that you can use for each one of these. At the end of the video, as a little bonus, I'm also going to show you the worst gun in the game for time to kill, just so you can see how that compares to our top 5. We're excluding snipers, shotguns and pistols from this, and keep in mind that this data is for operations or extraction mode. The stats for the guns are slightly different in warfare mode. I don't think that makes any of these bad choices for TTK, but it's worth keeping that in mind. I will put sharing codes for today's loadouts in the video description if you want to try these out yourself, and I will put links that will work for both warfare mode and operations mode. So the first gun on our list today, and the slowest to kill of the top 5, although not by very much, is the AS Val. This rifle does 29 points of damage, meaning it will take 4 shots to kill an unarmored target. It's got a 972 RPM, 48 pen, which is a pretty high pen value, and that gives it a 0.25 millisecond time to kill against an unarmored target or a target where you're fully penning the armor. So if you're firing purple rounds at a blue vest, then that'll be 0.25 millisecond TTK. This is all going to be based on the idea of chest shots. That's what the main stated damage figure is here of 29. You can actually view the damage that guns do to different parts of the body if you click details when viewing a gun. You can see here we can do 29 points of damage to the upper torso, 55 to the head, 26 to the abdomen, and 17 to limbs. The Val at the moment is going to cost you around 110k to buy at auction. It uses 9x39mm rounds, which is a relatively cheap ammo in the game right now. The blue rounds are about average and will cost you about 40k per 60 stack, but the purple rounds are only about 1,000 each, so 60k for 60 rounds for purple rounds, which is pretty cheap. It's a really nice gun to use. It handles very well, has an insane time to kill, and also comes with a built-in suppressor. We'll just jump into the firing range with it for a minute. This is running purple rounds in the AS Val. This build will set you back about 250k, so it's by no means a budget one, but it's also not particularly crazy expensive and sweaty. So the dummies we've got set up here today, this is a blue vest, this is a purple vest, and then these two are blue and purple as well. So with these purple rounds, we're basically fully penning this, we're partially penning this, same for these two, and then this is a gold vest we've got at the back here. If you keep an eye on the stats in the top left when we shoot a target, you're going to see the crazy quick time to kill here, 0.2 milliseconds for the full pen, 0.2 milliseconds for the partial pen on a purple vest is absolutely insane. And then these are the slightly further away ones as well. They're still within range as well. And we actually managed to get 0.1 milliseconds on that target there. We probably pulled up and hit a headshot rather than a chest shot. But it has an effective range of 27 meters. These are 25 meters away, so there's not going to be any damage drop off from shooting these targets. And then even shooting a tier up at this gold armor here, we still manage a 0.4 millisecond time to kill. So it's such a tiny difference in this game between shooting completely unarmored target essentially that we're penning, matching the target here, and then over armor shooting gold as well is only 0.2 milliseconds to 0.4 milliseconds. This loadout we've got as well is a really nice handling loadout. You can see it's very easy to fire, very little recoil, medium sort of ADS speed, and excellent stability as well. The next gun in our list today is a personal favorite of mine that I've been using a lot, the SR3M SMG. This does 36 points of damage, 747 RPM. It's going to take 3 shots to kill an unarmored target. It's got 48 pen, exactly the same as the Val, so high pen as well, giving it a 0.24 millisecond time to kill, fractionally faster than the Val. And the reason they've got the same pen is because they use the same ammo, the 9x39 rounds we just talked about a minute ago. Very cheap purple rounds for this gun, so if you want to run a lot of purple ammo, the Val or the SR3M, both really good choices. Considering 60 purple rounds for some of the other guns we're looking at today are going to cost you 90k to 100 to even 160,000, these purple rounds are almost half the price of some of the others in the game. This gun's also great because it's a little bit cheaper than the Val. This is going to cost you about 60k at the moment in auction compared to 110 on the Val. And because of that, I've got a nice loadout together for it. It's only going to cost you about 150k to buy all in. If we grab our SR3M here, we're going to go with purple rounds once again. Same target setup again. Blue armor, blue, purple, and gold. And we're going to show you the time to kill on all of these dummies. You can see 0.2 milliseconds, 0.2 milliseconds again. These targets here are actually very slightly out of our effective range now. They're They're 25 meters. Our effective range is 19 meters on this, but we still get 0.3 milliseconds there. We'd probably get 0.2 on this with some slightly better shooting. And then if we go and shoot the gold vest, we still manage a 0.4 millisecond time to kill. So you can see very similar stats to what we achieved with the Val. Also, because it's an SMG and this build has really nice handling and accuracy stats, we get a really nice quick ADS speed. And as well as that, we get really nice hip fire spread because of the accuracy stat. If we just use our hip fire here, you see we can still knock these with 0.3 milliseconds just by hip firing. Next up on our TTK list is another pretty expensive rifle, the Ash 12. This is an extremely high damage, high pen rifle. It does 56 points of damage, which means it only needs to hit 2 bullets to the chest to kill an unarmored target. It's got 500 RPM, which is pretty slow, very high pen of 55, and pretty high cost of about 95k to buy this. On top of that, the rounds for it are very expensive. It uses 12.7 by 55, slightly rarer rounds. The blue rounds are a bit of a premium at 54k, but not too crazy. But the purple rounds for this gun are going to cost you either about 106k per stack of 60 or 157,000 per stack of 60. It has a couple of different purple rounds that you can try and use. For this testing, we're going to use the more normal pen level 4 PS12 rounds, the cheaper of the two quite expensive rounds. And whilst this is a great gun, the attachments for it are all pretty expensive. So the loadout that we're using for it today is 300k. It's a little bit more on the pricey side. You could go a bit cheaper, but this is the one we're going to roll with today. Now, even though this gun does have a low RPM, because it only requires 2 bullets to kill when penning armor, it still has a very quick time to kill, and the high pen also is going to damage armor durability very, very quickly. We go against the unarmored target. You see we did 0.1 millisecond there, just 2 bullets had to connect. 0.2 milliseconds against the purple target, and still very effective at slightly longer range. And against the gold vest, we're doing 0.5 milliseconds, so actually quicker against unarmored or medium armored targets, but the higher armored target is fractionally slower than the earlier guns. This is a really nice loadout to use for the Ash. It's easy to spend tons of money on it, but I think this one is absolutely fine. It gives it plenty of control. And even for a very high damage, hard-hitting gun, it doesn't really have a huge amount of recoil, I would say. So definitely worth giving a go if you want to go with something a bit higher price point. Now moving on to the second place gun for time to kill in Delta Force right now, the Vector. Another SMG and another pretty expensive gun. It costs about 100k in auction in operations at the moment. It does a medium amount of damage, 32 points of damage. That means it's going to take 4 shots to kill an enemy, but it has the highest RPM in the game, 1091 RPM, 28 pen, which is kind of on the low end, but because you're firing so many bullets at your targets, you're actually going to break their armor very, very quickly. This ends up giving it a 0.22 millisecond time to kill against unarmored targets. And the loadout we've got set up for it here will cost you about 270k, but keep in mind 100k of that is on the gun, not too much spent on attachments. And even though it is expensive, it is super fun to use. I really enjoy using these. I feel like you get so many very close quarters engagements in this game, so it's extremely effective for those fights in compounds and buildings. If we jump back into the range now, have a look at the targets and see what we can do. 0.2 millisecond, 0.2 millisecond again on the purple, even at the slightly further away one, 0.2 millisecond, 0.3 on the purple one at slightly further range. You can see it just absolutely shreds targets so quickly. And again, like the other SMG builds, it's got a crazy fast ADS speed, as well as really good hip fire accuracy. And if we want to see the purple rounds against the gold vest at the back here, we get a 0.4 millisecond time to kill against the gold vest with purple rounds. If we hit headshots, that goes down to 0.2. So questionable whether a gold helmet is ever going to be of much use. And now, finally, the #1 gun currently in Delta Force, certainly in operations in terms of time to kill, is actually the M250 LMG. It doesn't have an especially fast RPM of 550, but it does 55 damage, which means it's another gun that only takes 2 bullets to kill an unarmored target like the Ash, with a slightly fast RPM. That brings it in top of the leaderboard at 0.21 millisecond time to kill. It also has really high armor penetration, 53 armor pen, but it is going to cost you a lot of money in ammo. It uses 6.8 by 51mm rounds. There's no blue rounds available. Purple rounds are the cheapest ones you can get, and 60 of those purple rounds are going to cost you about 120,000 credits right now. But it is a really powerful gun. It's very fun, and despite being an LMG, I've got a loadout set up for it here that makes it a bit better. It's a 300k loadout, so a little bit on the premium side, but not crazy, and 70k of that is on this scope. But even without this loadout put on, I don't think this gun's particularly hard to control. I was expecting it to be crazy for an LMG, and it's actually not really that bad at all. We go and take it to our target. targets here. You can see it's got that slow RPM, which makes you think maybe it wouldn't have a super fast time to kill, but it's just so powerful. Just takes down all of these targets so quickly. You know, you're not going to sit there spraying long sprays like you might with an LMG against vehicles and stuff in another game. You're just firing little quick shots. It's absolutely rinsing these targets, and even against the gold vest makes very light work. 0.4 milliseconds on the gold vest. Obviously, the long reload time of an LMG and the high cost of ammo might not make it the most versatile and usable weapon in every situation, but it's definitely worth a run if you get your hands on one. And now, before we go, I wanted to just show you, as a point of comparison, the slowest time to kill gun currently in Delta Force. So here we have it, the not so mighty Car 15. It does 27 points of damage, 632 RPM. It's going to take 4 shots to kill an unarmored enemy, and it's got a sort of medium armor pen of 32. If we just chuck an optic on this, and we'll just jump straight into the range and show you what I mean. Pop some swanky purple 5.56 rounds on it, and then take it up against our targets. Unarmored, not so bad, 0.3 milliseconds against the purple vest, 0.4 milliseconds, and against the faraway targets, 0.4 or so. Then when we take this against the gold vest, we're up to 0.7 milliseconds, so a huge difference compared to some of the other guns we've seen today. On paper, the unarmored TTK for this gun is at 0.38 milliseconds, so nearly 0.4 milliseconds, compared to pretty much half that for the other top 5 guns that we've gone over today. So they are small numbers and fine margins, but it's worth keeping time to kill stats in mind, because if you are using the ones at the right end of the league table, then by taking a couple of 100 milliseconds off your time to kill, that could be just enough time for you to react and get your opponent down before they take you down. So that's everything for today. Let me know in the comments what you think of these guns, and if you found the video useful at all, then drop a like and a sub to stay up to date with all of my latest Delta Force content. Thanks so much for watching. My name's Ben, we are the Beard Guys, and I'll see you next time.